We wish to thank our media partner, Automatic Merchandising, and VendingMarketWatch.com for the industry distribution of routes, journeys, and refreshment services. I've wanted to make films like this one for a very long time. We're part of a wonderful industry, one full of innovative and creative people and companies. In sharing these stories, it's my hope that people will be inspired to think about new ways to grow and improve their business, and in doing so, contribute to our amazing industry. In December 2014, Jake O'Sullivan sold O'Sullivan Vending for a considerable fortune, growing his company through obsessive customer service and creating a unique company culture that we learnt about in the first 2 episodes. But the big story for the industry as a whole has been the massive change technology has ushered in over the last 10 to 20 years. In this, our last episode about O'Sullivan Vending, we learned how technology was critical to building and maintaining a long-term competitive advantage.
Jake has always been a very progressive operator. Loved innovation and was always seeking ways to improve his operation and remain on the cutting edge of being competitive.
Early on when I had the vending, started in the vending business, and this has to do with whether it's card readers for payment, whether it's inventory, or whether it's online presence. Most of my peers were still in the dark ages. You know, they were still wearing the plastic pocket protectors. They had a little thermometer in there and a pen, and that was a vending guy. Said Jim on their shirt.
We had this opportunity to do amazing things, not just growing, but creating something with the leading edge clients, creating something very, very special.
So he reached out to us and said, I heard about this solution that you have, and I'm very interested. So we immediately flew out to San Jose, which is a really great place to visit, and spent some time with him and saw his operation, and he immediately saw the opportunity to improve with Lightspeed, so we decided to work together.
We couldn't have kept up with the opportunity before us, and don't get me wrong, we struggled to keep up with it, but we absolutely couldn't have without those technologies and the collaboration both with us and between partners.
But without the technology, you're not going to get the Facebooks, you're not going to get the Apples, you're not going to get the large Fortune 500 companies, because they want to know that the vendors that service their business are as invested in their business as they are in theirs.
At the time, we were writing little things down, what we left, and we'd take those little notes and we'd hand them to someone who put them in a spreadsheet, who then attached them to an invoice. Mistakes being made the whole way. And no matter how hard we tried, we'd find mistakes. And it was a long process. So by the time a month would end, we would be lucky to get invoices out 30 days after that. Plus customers would hold us for 30 to 45 days. So we had like a 90-day gap. And that's when I brought Scott in to manage the transition to Streamware. And he was invaluable for doing that. And then once we did that, he took on the next project, which was Lightspeed.
My first task was to take that and really re-implement it, focusing on the data elements and how it was going to be customized to fit the needs of what Jake saw the business, not just for today, but 10 years down the road.
You know, 65 Lightspeed iPads running simultaneously, 23 hours a day. They had 100 plus route trucks, you know, some of which were going to the same location 2 and 3 times over the course of a 24-hour period. I mean, it's a really remarkable story.
Streamware, when we took it on, it was going to do that so you could put it on the handheld, goes right into invoicing, customer gets an invoice. So along with that, we started invoicing the bigger customers weekly, and it really improved cash flow.
I mean, on average, I think technology-based companies are doing 50% more per route than non-technology companies.
They take 10 minutes in the morning, load up their bins, off they go. And so it really maximized the time of the driver's time, so they weren't spending time inventorying and loading. They were just able to get in their truck, spend 10 hours in their truck, get back, call it a day, and then the next morning their truck would be loaded for the following day.
We could not have kept up with the growth without that. And this is something that was really not done yet by Lightspeed individually or Lightspeed integrated to Streamer at the levels we were doing it. Jake would listen, and he would be willing to go out on a limb and try these different things. And I think that says a lot about where he could have been complacent, having done risk so much by that point, but he wasn't.
He always wanted to be the leader and very competitive, so he was not afraid of technology, and he embraced us at a very early age. He understood what we were doing, and he saw the benefits of that. One of the powerful things that Jake recognized early on was the importance of showing his customers how different he really was. And he did that through, his relationships with companies like VendCentral, like digital marketing, digital advertising.
That's when I contacted VendCentral. It really helped us because a lot of our stuff was word of mouth, but we also got stuff like this that wasn't word of mouth, and it also got us into other areas.
Every single check mark counts. If you don't have the technology in the building to be able to successfully deliver that product, you're not going to be able to compete.
Law firms, schools, other things, because people would do a Google search and we'd pop up and we had a really good looking website. And that meant a lot. Having a nice looking professional online presence was huge. And I had a number of people tell me that they chose us because we were the only ones that looked like we knew what online marketing was.
Today, Jake is retired and is as healthy and active as ever. Only now he's able to focus on his family outside of O'Sullivan Vending.
Cold enough for you?
Oh, yeah.
As generous as ever, Jake frequently organizes and funds hiking trips for both his family and friends to some of the most exotic and remote locations in the world. I've had the pleasure of attending some of these trips, one being to the country where I was born, New Zealand. In many ways, Jake is an embodiment of the American dream. Whereas a print and paper salesman, Jake got into the vending business as a sideline to help support his family, and 20 years later sold the company for a considerable fortune. Along the way, the company created hundreds of jobs and impacted thousands of people. Many of those people, as Vince described in episode 2, second chances in life and just needed a break. People like Vince himself. These stories are precious, and I'm fortunate and honored to be able to share them with you. Thanks for watching.